Hey ladies and gents, this is Linda Chic777, and today I'm coming at you with a design team project for Discount Paper Crafts. Now this project I created for a rack for a sweet, wonderful woman here on YouTube who is Barb, Scrappin' Barbie, and I think it was earlier than last summer, she sent me the cutest configuration box. I just love it, and I have been wanting to create something and send back to her ever since, and it's kind of been a long-standing joke now because as it got closer to Christmas last year, I was like, well, maybe it'll be a Christmas present, and then Christmas passed, and then we kind of got maybe a New Year's present, and then New Year's passed. So anyway, now we're heading into Easter, and so I think it might be an Easter present. But anyway, I'm going to move my sign out of the way, and first thing I'm going to do is just kind of show you a few of the elements I used on the project that Kathy had sent me in my design team kit. And first thing I'm going to do is show you some of the papers. They're kind of cut up, obviously, because I used them, but I still wanted to give you a little snippet of what is left. And she had sent me a garden collection by Blue Fern Studios. Beautiful imagery on this paper. It's a shabby chic kind of paper, and as you can see, you kind of get greens and blues and pinks, and you know, some of the papers you can go with like the blue and green theme, some you can stick with the pink, you know, like pinks and greens. Real beautiful paper. And what I love about this paper, I think this is the best quality paper I've ever seen, because you can hear how thick this paper is, and the imagery is just beautiful on it. I mean, I also made a card to go with this project. It was like a tag type card, and I used this paper for the background because it's plenty of stiff enough to hold up all my embellishments. So that's, you can gather, you know, or think how thick this paper is, but just look at the imagery on this. It's just gorgeous. Butterflies and birds and bird cages, super cool. And one of them, I cut a lot of them out, but it does have you know, cut out tags and words and things you can use. A little piece of what I have left here. Oopsie. What I have left here of this paper, because I kind of went with the pink and green theme. But anyway, so there's the paper I used. Also from Kathy's store, she has in stock are these cute little resin angels. So I used one of those on my tag, and these are so small. If you've not seen these, that's what I kind of love about them. They're great for tucking in. I mean, palm of my hand, look how, and even though they're so small, the detail on this is just astonishing. They're just beautiful little angels, and there's, I think, quite a few different packages of angels and things to work with, different designs and stuff like that. She also sent me some wood products and stuff that I used in my kit, or in my project. I used Kaiser Craft, one of these little fancy corners. And then I used the oval window. I'll have to show you that because there's only one in the package. But I used one of these real beautiful bird cages. Really nice, thick wood. So that's really was nice to work with. And I also used, it got covered up, but I used some of this beautiful new trim by Prima. I love it because it's a, you know, a flower trim, but they look like little doilies. And I love, as Prima always does, this comes on a wooden tag. So, you know, they repurpose the packaging so that you could use it, obviously, or they package it so that you could repurpose it, I guess I should say. So just beautiful, but I love them as little doilies. And you get quite a bit on there. I think 1.5, 2 yards, 1.5 yards. So, and a really inexpensive price, I think. Also used some flowers from the Something Blue collection that Kathy carries. These are beautiful, big flowers. And I also used one of the fabric flowers from this set from Stationer's Desk. Each of the kits, I think, the collections come with a package of fabric flowers, and they're just beautiful quality. And also, yes, as you guessed, I actually used some paper from Stationer's Desk and from Something Blue and from Cartographer, all carried in Kathy's store. You're wondering how all this paper went with those pinks and greens, aren't you? Well, it does have some blacks and browns, so that's how I went with that. Anyway, I'm going to move these out of the way and show you what I came up with. Okay, bring in my little project here. I sure hope that Barb likes this. I told her not to peek, but if she's watching, that's her choice. But, you know, if she wants to be surprised, I told her not to peek. So when I had messaged her, when I wanted to do her project, you know, so many years ago, I asked her if she wanted something that hangs or something for organization, and she chose organization. So I had this cute little box in my stash that I picked up at Goodwill, and it's great because it has this wonderful little hinge lid that she could also put stuff inside. So that was fun to do, and you can see all the, like, the detailing of this box. So what I did, because, you know, I didn't want to ruin my paper first, is I took just regular copy paper and, you know, traced and made the designs first, and then I used those patterns to work with my design papers, because, you know, I actually had to retrace a few of those, so I would have been horribly upset if I'd have messed these up. But, you know, I wanted to cover each and every little inch of this, so I'm going to bring it up close, and we'll just kind of take a moment here to gander and look at this. Going across. And no worries, as I usually do, I'll explain everything in detail. Here's kind of the front. I covered every little square inch. Used some stenciling on my project as well. Pulled out an old Prima mask that had the little micro dots on it, the large flower and the micro dots. Pulled that back out again. I haven't used it in a while. Used the Crafter's Workshop Artist stencil. As you'll notice on my stenciling, I'll just point it out when we're back here, I often do it when I stencil, then I'll take my acrylic paint mixed with sand and a little pouncy brush, and I'll pounce over it to get it a little powdery effect, and I think that just pops the stencils right out. Especially when you're just using white, you're not using colored modeling paste or anything like that. Okay, and then let me show you the little inside. Nothing fancy, but there it is. There's some of that beautiful paper I showed you from Kaiser Craft on the lid. Little stenciling going on. That stripe paper is just from one of my pads in my stash, Die Cuts with a View. Pulled it out because I thought it went well with it. And then we'll go to the inside. I covered everything, even the bottom. Okay, stenciled on almost everything. So there that is. So I started basically on the base with going around all the edges with acrylic paint mixed with sand to get the texture. And all my papers, once I, you know, picked out where I wanted them, I distressed the edges and sewed everything. Okay, see if I can hold this up. It gets kind of heavy. Around the perimeter of the base, most all of this paper you're seeing with the script on it is from the 12 by 12 Prima script pad. So that was kind of the main base of everything. And then I went over, you know, in other areas with the beautiful Blue Fern Studios paper and all the other little Prima designs. So over here, what I started with, this is the wooden window from Kaiser Craft. Just a beautiful, I can kind of move this out of the way so you can see the design of it. Beautiful design there. On top of that, I've got a one of the old Prima vines I cut apart, and it actually had a peach flower on it. So I took one of the petaloo flowers I got from Kathy's shop, and it was like a tannish color, and I spray painted it, glimmer misted it, I guess. I always want to say spray paint. Well, it is a spray paint, right? And glimmer misted it with a pink. And I've got a bunch of like Wild Orchid Craft flowers all in and around here. I'll show you. I've got a little resin heart from Prima, the Shabby Chic Treasured Resin heart, and also some wings from Prima as well. And I went over all the tops of my embellishments with the acrylic paint mixed with sand, give it a lot of texture. Over on the wing here, I've got a Prima light bulb from Kathy's shop. It had a word on it, but I was just able to kind of, if you go really lightly, you can kind of scratch the word off of the light bulb if it's, you know, a word you don't like. And you can also rub on, use rub-on words and rub on another word on top of, you know, after you take the old one off. It works really well and stays very nicely. Okay, so in front of the vine, you could barely see it right there. If I tip it, there's a little piece of that Prima trim there. And I've got my little X and O tucked right in there. And on top of that trim, I've got a Prima clock face. And then I've got a petaloo flower here from Kathy's shop. And then I've also got some Prima clock hands that I've textured up. Over here is the beautiful bloom from the Something Blue collection. You can see how large that is. I've got some little acrylic gems tucked in here. I've got a little mini penny farthing bicycle from my stash. Underneath the bow, I've got tons of other Wild Orchid Craft and Petaloo flowers tucked in there. Right here, you could see the little fabric flower from the Stationer's Desk collection. I've got a little white heart deer tucked in here. I've got a little pink velvet Prima leaf tucked in there. And then on top, I'm going to set this down a minute, getting heavy. We'll go in, let me adjust just a bit, and we'll go in there just for a minute. I'll probably pick it right back up. It'll give me a break. I've got a beautiful silk ribbon here as a bow. And on top of that, I've got a Prima... I always forget what these are called. Anyway, it's a Prima metal piece. I think Finnabar put them out. I could be, or Ingvild Bohm. It's probably Ingvild Bohm. I think it is her. It's one of these little tops. It has this little hinge on it, which I love. And what I did from is I hung 3 links of chain kind of in a scallop effect over to the other side and hooked it on over to here. Okay. And I'm going to come back over here real quick. Right in here, I've got, this is just a chipboard brick wall that I cut up. And on top here, Kathy also sent in some fab scrap metals to me. And she's got these cute little, miniature little door pulls here. And it works perfectly just to kind of pull up the little drawer here. So a door, not a drawer. So that is really super cute with some more flowers in there. And then also she sent me their locks and keys that you can also get by Fab Scraps in her store. And so I hung one of the little keys here. Now what you're seeing on here, this is one of the new Prima stencils with the words in it. And you can see how just beautifully detailed those words are. They have about, I'm going to think about 5 new stencils with words and roses and stuff on them. So that's what's here. And then over in this corner, let me go in a little closer. This is a new, or it's not new, it's one of the last release Ingvild Bohm resin pieces. It had pretty roses, photo corners with roses on them, and I think it had like a big resin heart in it as well, some little flowers. This is a piece from the Blue Fern Studios collection. I just fussy cut up, put up some pop dots there, and that's, like I said, where I hung my key from. And then this trim on the bottom here is just from my stash. It's like this real pretty white scallop trim. And it's got this tiny little pink trim on it here. And then it's got this like, you know, faux diamond trim on top of that. Okay. And then you saw the inside. So let's bring this back out. You saw I showed you the inside of the drawer. Okay, and it was popping here on the middle. Let's bring it like this. What I wanted to do was create a peekaboo because I love the curvature of this back piece here. So this is the Something Blue collection paper, and since it's single-sided, I backed the same piece of paper on the other side, sewed it together, and then I cut right down the middle of it, and then I wet the ends, and I curled it and heat set it, so it makes these real great, just nice stiff curls here to create a peekaboo in there. Over here to this left side is just a little Prima resin bird I got from Kathy's store. And then back to the center, I've got another word I fussy cut from the Blue Fern Studios collection there, and then I did a little stenciling on top up there. And then I've got a bunch of flowers kind of hanging in on the inside here. And I've got a little resin, or not resin, I always mix those up, metal heart gear Ingvild Bohm. And then I've got some Prima claw cans here. And I use black acrylic paint mixed with sand to texture that up so it would kind of soften it up a bit. I've got a little bow trim from my stash. And then I have a little Prima zipper. It's kind of hard to get in here and see, but these are from Kathy's store. It's got a little bobble kind of hanging. I'll show you backwards. A little bobble hanging from the inside there. So it looks like it was kind of zipped open. Okay. So there is that little part of my project. Oh, and that reminds me. Also what I did is I created a bunch of little journaling cards that Barb could use in any of her projects. I took this all from those 3 collections, Cartographer and a little bit of the... 4 collections, I guess I should say, the Blue Fern Studios and then Stamping Glue and Stationer's Desk, and what I did is I distressed all the edges and sewed them, and I just wanted to make her some cards so that she could pull them out and use them in her projects if she wants one ready to go. A lot of these are from the ATC collection, or ATC packs of all those collections. So I made her about 20 of them. You know, she can just, like I said, pull them out and use them on her projects. Some of these came from the paper itself where I fussy cut them out. There's the 4x6 cards and is it 3x4, I believe, cards, everything. So just thought that was a fun little thing to put in there for her that she could use whenever she wanted. Okay, so I'm going to move that out of the way. And I'm going to go on to showing you the little card I made. This is actually a great big tag. Kind of give you a look here for a minute. And like I said, I used the, I'll move this out of the way, you can see in there, I used the paper from that collection because it's so stiff, it just works wonderful. I didn't need to back it with anything. Okay, so let me take these out. Maybe, there we go. And again, I wanted it to kind of match your project, so I've got another silk bow there, and then just a little key for my stash. I've got another little chipboard piece of a brick wall there, and then some of the words I fussy cut from the Blue Fern Studio collection there, and then a little Prima butterfly. And then this is a piece of heart trim, or heart doily, excuse me, that Kathy, I'm going to set that down for a minute, that Kathy sent in our kit, so I wanted to put it on the card because I thought it just looked really cute, just all dainty there. And then for the pocket, I fussy cut out a piece of from the garden collection to make the little pocket. And then I just sewed it onto the tag. And then for the trims, I've got a couple of big trims here and little fancy and two little flower trims. And then for the decoration, I've got just, this is from my stash, just a little paper clip. I've got another little word cut, fussy cut from the garden collection. And then I've got another little chipboard piece here of the brick wall. Here's the bird cage from Kaisercraft. Another little Prima butterfly, a little X and O and my gems, and a bunch of flowers all tucked in there. And then this is the angel from the Prima collection, really cute. And then I've got a little white heart gear here again, and another Prima claw can all textured up. And did I mention this? This is a the wooden fancy corner from Kaisercraft. And then this is what I'm going to put my little note on right here. So I'll tuck that in, and then I made 3 more little journal cards that she could use in her projects if she wants. Okay, so there is my project and little card. I hope you guys liked it, and I thank you for sharing your time with me. Mwah! And I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.